And I hope nursing your Krishna is not hijacked. Now let us shift to the two next talks which are very important is burnout during urology practice and how to convince hospital administration to buy a robotic setup. May I call on stage Dr. Ravindra Sabnis sir and Dr. Pankaj Maheshwari to moderate this session.
Well, the first talk. The first talk is by PP Rao. So PP, please come and deliver your first talk. He's the right person to give that talk.
So I must tell you that this talk is specifically given by Sabni sir to me. Because he has a feeling that I don't practice at all. I don't know why he gets this feeling, but I've heard this from other people also. So obviously I'm giving somebody the wrong impression. There'll be only one audience on this. So why does this mean burnout in urology practice? And I'm seeing all people here who can't be burning out. Pramod Rai, Sanjay Kulkarni, they cannot burn out. They all practice less than me also. So urology face a high burnout rate if you look at the published data. Now all this data is from the Western countries because Indians cannot afford to burn out. So it's more than 40% in some surveys. Burnout affects patient care, to sustainability and personal health. What is burnout? Emotional exhaustion. I'm sure all of us feel it from time to time. Depersonalization, cynical, you're detached. Submissive is without even being burned out. Dreading sense of accomplishment. That is not something somebody will ever accuse me of. Burnout is not weakness. It's a response to chronic work stress. What are the risks, especially in private practice? I know most of us here are in private practice. And obviously burnout is something which is much commoner in private practice than in academic practice. High patient volumes to maintain income. So basically to maintain your income, you're working more and more and increasing your chances of burnout. It's business. Nobody teaches us finance when you're in medical school or residency. So you're thrown into the deep end in private practice. Most of us don't have a background in finance like Ashit. So we don't have any idea about finances. And then you find out a few years after starting practice that you're working a lot and you don't have anything to show for it. HR issues. Even less than finance, we are less equipped to deal with HR issues. Many of you are having nursing homes. Even in the morning, first question is not whether this patient has a BPH. Swat boy has not come to work today. What are you going to do? How are you going to reach this? We are absolutely, totally unqualified to handle HR issues. Yet, all people who have nursing homes are doing this all the time. And nobody in India has a professional to do this. And 24/7 availability. Most patients in India think that doctors should be at their beck and call. Many of us give the cell phone numbers to the patient and the patients keep calling at all hours. There is no respect of any crime in India. The warning signs to watch: chronic fatigue and irritability, decreased empathy towards patients, you start snapping at patients who are taking too much of your time, increased errors or lapses in concentration, and this I'm sure all of us will have felt it at some time or the other. And then you start withdrawing from colleagues and family. We saw one of our senior colleagues and a good friend of mine who passed away recently committed suicide, and he was getting increasingly withdrawn for the last 6 months, and people didn't notice this. It was sad, but true. And a loss of motivation and joy in it. This unfortunately comes to all of us at some stage or the other, and it's very important to avoid it. How do we prevent burnout? That is the key for this. You have to protect your work-life balance. Essential. You block some regular time for personal, family and friend activities. Work is not be all and end all. Learn to say no. This is the hardest thing to know, how to say no. Learn to say no. Learn to say it in a way that doesn't offend the other person. I had to delay my coming here by a day, so some patient insisted that I operate. Obviously, I have not learned to say no well enough, but it's true. Reconnect with meaning. Think of what got you into urology in the first place. All of us got into urology because one of the most fun disciplines to practice. Focus on complex and rewarding cases. For me, if I'm doing a routine ureteroscopy or a PH, I'm bored. Doesn't challenge me anymore. But doing a complex reconstruction laparoscopic laboratory, that really gets me charged up and I feel good for the rest of the week. Engage in teaching and mentorship. I get much more pleasure from teaching or mentoring somebody than in doing a case myself. If I see a junior of mine who has done a great job, that gives me a lot more pleasure than anything else. This may be one of the reasons you see burnout in private practice, but not in academia. Because in academia, somebody like Sabnit sir has the joy every day. He's seeing juniors are progressing, he sees all his students doing well. Mahesh Bhai is seeing all his, the only thing he talks to us is he's so happy that the rest of us are doing well. What he wants to show to the world is how much his students have done. That is prevent burnout for sure. So try to do that and celebrate your clinical wins with what's small. It's worth having a party if you've done a difficult case. Calling your friends along. Very important. Stay connected. Join a local urology network or clinicians group because these are the people we can talk to. A lot of us have layman friends who are not doctors. It's very difficult to discuss medical issues with them. But if you have local urologists you can talk to or local physician network, it is fantastic for a lot of your stress. You schedule regular check-in with your peers. Maybe your residency mate, whoever it is. Very important. And don't isolate. If you share experience, especially of complications, it reduces emotional burden. Family and peer groups are the most important way to discuss. I cannot stress this more enough. Prioritize personal wellness. Exercise regularly. Short burst exercise of any sort releases endorphins and makes you feel better automatically. Even when you are depressed, if you exercise a bit, you feel better. Maintain a healthy diet and sleep routines. I do not practice what I preach. You guys can do it. Let's go. Neither my diet nor my sleep feel healthy. Seek counseling or therapy without stigma. This cannot be stressed enough. It's important to seek counseling. I know that in India, not and people feel a stigma, but it's very important and they can make a difference. Any sort of depression is a chemical imbalance in the brain. It can be fixed with drugs. There is no shame in taking these drugs. So please seek counseling or therapy if you need to. What do you take away from this? Work hard but play hard. This is most important. You have to have balance. As much as you work, you need to enjoy also. Now this is not what Mr. or Mahesh Bhai practices or teaches, but it's important for the rest of us. Develop interest outside of urology. Very, very important. I have my passion, I have my interest. This is what gives me joy, takes away from the day-to-day stress. Follow your passion. I must say that we had a very demanding residency program here at MPUH. Sir was very clear that every time if we had a presentation to make at a conference, he would insist that you go with your family for 2 or 3 days before or after the conference, which was sponsored by the hospital for us. Because that was part of his reward for you for getting a presentation accepted at a national or zonal conference. That was so important that we knew that a person who is focused on making us work the maximum, but he would still insist that you take your wife, your kids and go for a holiday also. I mean, getting leave in MPH was impossible, even for getting married. When you went for a conference, you could. So marriage you have more than 1 day, why? So you are going on a conference, you can go for
One of the reasons I used to insist that wife should be back in the auditorium when she listen to him. And then when they go on a holiday, wife would say, no, nobody will tell you. Next time, you so every time I think she said when she comes. That's my make sure. And then when I go, I do the rest.
But this is what we learned here, work hard but play hard. So when you are working, you work, but when you get an opportunity, and this is all paid for by the hospital. for the residents of that time, which was so important that he wanted us to take that time away. And this is what we have learned. Right? Jagtap, one of my colleagues, went for a conference with sir at Heidelberg. I think some of you were also there. And then, see, they took time off because it's essential. I have a group of urologists from around the world. You can recognize some of them there. We just travel the world to eat. Well, that's one of my passions, food. We go around the world every 8-9 months. We choose a destination and go and eat. And there are urologists all different continents. You can see. And my other passion is cars and fast driving. So I follow that. Take some time off. You can earn a little less, but it's important to follow your passions and your dreams. Burnout is real, but it's preventable and reversible. You can't pour anything from an empty cup. So don't forget that. Small, consistent changes yield big results. Sustainable practice, better care for your patients, and better life for you. Never ignore alumni groups and family groups. They are very important sources of support. For me, one of the most important is my MPH alumni group, which has one notable absentee. But Mahesh Bhai is not allowed to be in the group. The rest of which is a crowd of us. But the rest of us are all in that group and we support each other. You cannot buy good health, mental or physical. That's the most valuable thing of all. Thank you.
No, what you have said is right, PP. What you have said is right, that to develop the passion. But I think these passions and other things, there is a time when you can develop and you can pursue. Not during residency. You can't have passions. During residency, you have to focus only on urology. Rest of the time, it's okay. Once you go out from the residency, you can develop anything. But not during residency. Okay. Thank you very much.